What's up, everybody? Well, I hope this video turns out alright and that you can see my face. I'll probably postpone it to June because I've had too many in May as compared to April. And what I want to talk about, I want to title it Royal Magic. And I want to say that I am grossly disappointed by what I saw. If that's royal magic, I am grossly disappointed, just like the Rugrats reboot. Am I committed to not liking it just because it isn't the original? Not really. But it's almost like these reboots happen not because people actually want them, but because they have to do something with the franchise. Ever so many years, they have to do something with it, lest they lose the rights to the franchise and the ability to report such people as myself should we upload footage from the show. And that is really sad. They, in order to maintain their ability to do that, and that's probably why every reboot ever happened. Primarily, I've just recently come to understand that if they don't do something with it ever so many years, they lose the copyright. And as such, they feel the need to not only do something with it, but to change it. They can't make it the same. Because if it's too much the same product already exists. You know what I'm saying? They can't make, Rugrats exactly the same in the reboot because the original is still out there. So they have to change it. And unfortunately, they always end up changing things for the worse. Not many things ever change for the better. Not many things ever change in the ways that I wish they would. And you can imagine what ways those would be. But I'm grossly disappointed in the first episode that I saw, because it does not contain this guy. It was a no Cedric episode. And yes, the original began the same way. But I do have a feeling that as opposed, rather than a regular character, that he's going to be a minor character. In fact, you might be lucky enough to even see him as often as he was seen in season 3 and 4. You might be lucky to have 2 out of a dozen episodes where he appears. Who knows? And I'm not liking the ways in which they changed him. I feel like they took away his most iconic features, such as the gloves that I paid good money for to make this Ken doll look like him, such as the iconic purple robe, such as the yellow bow tie and the green shirt, my favorite colors, purple, green, and gold because of Mardi Gras. And, I feel like they may not even make him worthy of a little bitty 1/12 scale figure like they had before, let alone a full-on 11 or 12-inch Ken doll. And I really don't like, they toned down his nose. And that's okay, but once you've drawn him the same way so many times for so many years, the last thing you needed was a nose job. Because when I describe him, you know, for a bot, I mean, it's already hard enough to match his appearance without uploading a file. But when I describe him as the guy with the long pointy nose, you know, what am I supposed to say now? The guy with the slightly long nose? Slightly longer than average. You know, it's bad enough that you ask for Cedric the Sorcerer, and AI wants to give you some random wizard dude. Just some random Merlin in a purple robe instead of blue. Some guy with a beard and stars on his robe. And, I mean, I don't care who knows that I had a one-track reason for tuning into that show. And it wasn't the stupid little grade schooler, Sophia, and her stupid friends. You know, and that's another thing I want to talk about is just continued anger about, I've been blocking accounts left and right on Instagram for trying to teach me the classifications of children. Well, you know what? I don't GAF. Because as far as I'm concerned, anyone below 18 is a child. You know, a child is not someone between this age and that age. It's anyone below 18. It's anyone who cannot vote, whether they're a baby in an effing diaper or they're ready to buy their graduation ring and take a senior portrait at 17 and a half. A child is anyone below 18. And I believe that childhood should only be broken up into 3 categories: early, middle, and late, or adolescence. And it should only happen, like, ideally it would be the birthdays divisible by 6. So that on your 6th birthday, you enter middle childhood. And the very definition of that is the years surrounding age 9. Because age 9, you're halfway through your years as a legal minor. So a 9-year-old should be smack dab in the middle of middle childhood. Now, shouldn't they? I used to say I was a half adult at that age. So, there should be no argument that a 9-year-old is in middle childhood. But, ideally, on the 12th birthday, really it should be the 13th, you should enter adolescence, or late childhood, really. To be honest, I mean, adolescence is a type of childhood. They're not an adult. I don't like how it begins with AD, like adulthood. But 7th grade is like you go into adolescence. Whether or not you've begun or completed puberty is irrelevant. So, you know, 6th grade and below should be thought of as part of elementary school. So that middle childhood is basically elementary school, give or take. And at age 9, you're in 3rd or 4th grade, so you're smack dab in the middle of it. And adolescence, which is really a stupid term, because I mean, let's face it, people are at all different stages of puberty as a teenager. And whether you're Daniel Radcliffe at one end of the spectrum or Justin Bieber and Leonardo DiCaprio at the other, you know, and that's just male development. That's not even female development, which could begin much younger. You know, it doesn't matter what age your body matures. When your age ends with teen, in particular, or if you've reached 7th grade and or the teens, you're in adolescence until you're legal adulthood, until you're old enough to vote. So roughly 12 to 18 or 13 to 18 is adolescence. So childhood should only be broken up into 3 categories: early, middle, late, or adolescence. Early childhood is where you have all these stupid terms like infant, baby, toddler. I hate the word preschooler. Anything that begins with pre is a stupid word. Preschooler, preteen. It's like you're wanting someone to be bumped up into the next category, which is stupid. You know, wanting 3 and 4-year-olds to be called preschoolers, whether or not they actually go to school, like as if to say that they're like a kindergartner. You know, they're more like an older kid than a 2-year-old. Well, that doesn't make sense either, because many boys, as you well know, will wear diapers almost to the day they go to kindergarten. And guess what? If they're a bedwetter, they'll wear them at home even longer. You know, they'll come home from school and want to put on a diaper so that they're only potty trained while they're at school and holding it all day. And so no, it's stupid to draw these stupid lines, you know, at other ages that no one can really agree upon. You know, like age 3 they become a preschooler, and age 9 or 10 they become a tween or a preteen. Well, I hate those words, because no, a 9-year-old is smack dab in the middle of middle childhood. They're halfway through their legal minor years. And so ages 6 through about 12 is middle childhood. And they're either grade schoolers, school-age children, or older children in that age. When they're below the age of 6, they're younger children. Whether that means they're a baby, a toddler, an infant, a preschooler, a this, a that, a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, it doesn't really matter. They're a young child. They're a younger child. When they're 5 and under, they're a younger child. Meaning they probably have all baby teeth, if they even have all those. Middle childhood, 6 through 12, they're losing the baby teeth and gradually getting permanent teeth. Adolescents, they've probably at least begun puberty, and all their teeth are their permanent teeth that may need to be put in braces. And they may or may not get their wisdom teeth. Mine were extracted before they could ever emerge, so that I could have jaw surgery. So, you know, those are the categories: early, middle, adolescence. You have younger kids, older kids, teenagers. And the stupid word preteen doesn't make any sense, because it's like you want them to be a teenager, but you can't officially call them that. Well, I think that's bull. You know, I think they should be called a child through the age of 12 years and 11 months. Whether or not they reach puberty, doesn't matter. You know, whether it's a girl with a menstrual period, or a girl without a menstrual period, or a boy that looks like a grown man, or a boy that looks like a little kid, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't effing matter. They're 12 and under, they're a child. If they're 5 and under, they're a young child. And just so frustrating, you know, when people want to break up the categories to make them seem older than they are. You know, breaking up middle childhood so that the older elementary kids are divided, you know, like they're almost part of middle school or junior high without actually going there. Well, I think that's stupid. You know, to see them differently in the 5th grade than if they had just begun kindergarten yesterday. You know, whether they're a 6-year-old who just began kindergarten yesterday, or a 6th grader, you know, about to go into 7th grade and already in puberty. Well, it doesn't matter. They're a child. They're an older child. And if they're under 6, they're a younger child. You know, whether they're a 1.5-year-old still in diapers, unable to talk, or they're a 5.5-year-old already in kindergarten, losing teeth. They're a younger child. And I don't like to see childhood broken up more than just in 2. And then 13 through 17, well, they're adolescent or teenager. And then the only one that really matters, let's face it, is 18. You know, being able to vote, being a legal adult. And, yeah, that's the one that matters the most. You know, all these other little categories below 18 don't mean SHIT in a diaper. And, you know, it's just ridiculous, you know, to divide kids, you know, into different age groups so that you feel less horrible for being attracted to them. Oh, well, she's 12 and 3/4, so she's a preteen, not a child. Oh, well, she's 17 and a half, so, you know, she's an older teenager. She's almost an adult. You know, it's not like she's under 16 and unable to drive. Well, they shouldn't even be driving then. But, you know, I just really hate that. How people want to break apart childhood. Almost to the point where you have to refer to them as their age. Like my 9-year-old this, my 11-year-old that, my 5-year-old this, my 2-year-old that. People have to refer to them as their age because nobody can really agree, or their grade level, you know, in elementary school. My 5th grader, my 4th grader, my 1st grader. You know, people have to refer to them like that because nobody can freaking agree on what to call them. You know what I'm saying? Is a 2.5-year-old a toddler? Is a 3-year-old a toddler? Is a 5-year-old a preschooler? Are they a grade schooler, you know? What about the kids that start school earlier or later or fail or skip or whatnot? But, I mean, of course, age isn't maturity, but I think we should all agree that the only line that really matters, the only line of any significance is 18. Really, anything below 21 seems like a child to me. Because when I think about the dates when they were born and where I was in life, it makes me feel like I have nothing in common with them. You know what I'm saying? At 40 effing 3. And